Money makes the world spin around. And therefore, one of our bigger fears in life is that we may run out of money, especially when we are older and we don't earn a living, an income anymore. Therefore, I would like to propose a model very much like the GPS that guides us to our physical destination when we travel, to see if we cannot use this model to guide us toward financial independence. I call it the PGS, or Personal Guidance System. And basically it tries to align our goals, our values and our actions so that we make informed and good decisions. But what exactly is financial independence? In my books, very simply, it means that I can live the way I choose to live without having to work for money. Hence, money works for me. This sounds very simple, but it requires us to have enough money to make money work for us. And with the inflation around, that's not so easy. Therefore, when we invest our money, we need to make sure that we beat inflation. So let's look at a simple example. If inflation is, say, running at 6%, we at least need to invest our money at the same return level. Ideally, one would actually like to achieve, say, 12% or almost double inflation. This means that should one start drawing from your investment money, your net gain is still 6%, meaning that at retirement, you have a lump sum, it's growing at 12%, you're drawing 6%, so you're still beating, or you're still equivalent to inflation, equal to inflation, means that you never eat into your lump sum. So that's the main idea. The question is, however, what do you need when you actually want to retire? Let's look at the maths quickly. Let's take a million units of money. In my country, I would call it R1,000,000. Our inflation is 6%, so I use that as an example. Now, 6% of a million units would mean 60,000 units. So if I draw 6% of that amount per year, it's 60,000 units or 5,000 units per month. Thus, I have 5,000 units per month as spending money for every 1 million units I have invested. So this is the easy rule of thumb to remember. If you need 50,000 units per month to maintain your lifestyle, it actually means that you need to have 10 million units in investment. This would be our end destination, 10 million units. Again, in a South African environment, that would be 10 million rands. The question is now, will I be able to actually accumulate that amount of money in the years that I have ahead of me? We also know that it's not simply a matter of putting aside money to have the 10 million units at the end of a certain time period. We have other living costs. So we need to pace ourselves, or in GPS speak, we need to make sure we have credible waypoints along the way where we can measure ourselves. Now, some of these waypoints may include our monthly expense bills. We need to replace our cars. We might want to buy a house. There's the education of our children. We also need to take holidays. All these things are waypoints along the way that we need to plan in order to reach our destination. What influences our plans? This brings me to the next element of our PGS, our values, or what we value in life. This includes things like, do I value independence? Do I value family? Do I value status? Do I value my own freedom? Do I value education? Because the things that I value would influence me to also spend money on those things. In other words, if financial independence is not of value to me, I wouldn't bother about this whole conversation. Which obviously then brings me to the third element of our PGS, our actions. Our actions need to line up with our values and our goals, because we act on what is valuable to us and we act to get to our goals. What could be actions that we would like to involve ourselves in when we are serious about financial independence and it is of great value to us? Well, we might decide to learn about money. We would like to save regularly, so in other words, we want to make saving a habit. We might get hold of good advice or learn ourselves. And in this day and age that we live in, we need to be aware of our urge to give in to instant gratification. So these actions must be inspired by our deep-centered value to become financially independent. We must walk the talk. And this road will then, at each point in time, have a fork in it. We're either going to make a decision towards financial independence, or we're actually going to say, look, money is important to me, a big car, a big house, status is more important to me, hence I'm not going to spend, I'm not going to actually invest in the long term, I'm going to actually spend the money on short-term goals. So that's the way the model works then. We need to reach an end destination which we pick. In this example, we picked financial independence, which meant that we had to gather and accumulate a financial sum over our lifetime. The way we accumulate it is influenced by our values, and our values inform our actions, and our actions can either take us towards our goals or away from our goals. That's the way the PGS helps us to achieve financial independence.